Once she could no longer see the crystal sand, she felt something suckered grip her feet. Frances struggled against it, feeling the suckers grow barbs that started digging in as more came, wrapping around her other limbs, torso, and neck. These spiked tentacles pulled her deep into the water. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Her lungs burned while these tentacles dug in, leaving deep cuts that bled her out long before she suffocated, all making the world grow darker and with no sensation as she lost consciousness.
Are you dead?
She heard the voice of Abigail hiss in the darkness.
If yes, when did you die? If not, shall it be now?
When she came to, at first she sat in the darkness. The faint smell of urine and sweat filled the warm air. Her arms and legs were restrained in something wet and fleshy that kept pulsing. She wriggled, finding that she could not move. Hello, dreamers. I'm Shannon Francis Smith, fiction author and digital artist, formerly trained in computer science, owner of Spacebell Dreams. I'm reaching out to ask for pledges for my next book, Beckoning from the Stars, Lovecraftian horror mixed with monster romance, the sequel to Whispers of the Abyss, following Detective Clark's hunt for Abigail Morris, and the post-Nartalok world engulfed within the personification of the Abyss. The second draft of the story is currently complete and is pending a second set of edits from editor. Once I get the manuscript back in mid to late May, I will get the last of the edits in, then assemble the book, including the cover art. As for the cover art, I've commissioned art from an artist to depict the monster of the current book, Ebelzenthak. Once I get that, which will be in early May, it's putting the text on it, blurb and all. Paperbacks will be printed via KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and available on Amazon. Hardcovers are unique to this campaign and will be hand-assembled on high-quality paper. There will be a Kindle version, and there will be a DRM-free EPUB format for those who want an ebook and not a physical copy. Okay, so cold was her first sensation, followed by warmth in select parts of her, weightless with water pushing down on her. The sensation of cloth and fabric missing. The warm parts felt of flesh. Suckers massaged her skin. Fleshy, suckered, soft tentacles wrapped around her. She found she couldn't breathe through her nose, and a soft tube laid inside her mouth. Breathe. The familiar voice of Ebelzenthak cooed in her ear. She took him on his advice and breathed, as before, upon this tube. As before, her lungs stopped burning. The slick waters of the ending sea surround her, giving the illusion of weightlessness. Never thought the Grim Reaper would be a tentacle monster, Frances thought. Never would I have thought that in a million years. Assuming I'm dead this time. She opened her eyes and saw nothing but darkness surrounded her. Breathe, breathe, beloved, Ebelzenthak replied. I can keep you alive in these depths. So many questions raced through her mind in that moment. What do you mean, depths? Am I dead? Did you rescue me? Or trick me into being taken and fucked? Do you plan to slip tentacles into me? Just what the fuck is going on? At all? The reason she couldn't ask? She had a tube in her mouth that allowed her to breathe within these strange waters. She could take the tube out and try to talk, only for her words to be spoken into the water, where it would go unheard. Unless she would come out from the waters, the tube would have to be in the way of her mouth.
Cortex touched you, Francis just
Ebelzenthak spoke onwards.
She doesn't touch just anyone, and I see she wanted you. The stars willed your entrance into a line of fate that would bring you to me. One where you'd be prepared, your beauty intensified in all ways.
If only I could refute.
Right now, just rest. These waters will soothe you, and you'll be out of the sea feeling much better. I promise this to you, my magician.
Frances held herself still. Even if she could break this monster's grasp, how far up would she need to swim to break the surface and breathe on her own? Still, she retreated into her thoughts. When will anything start making sense? She thought. When? Now the not so fun part. As a self-published author, I need to hire an editor to go over the manuscript. Editors cost money. They want to eat too. The price for an 80k word manuscript will set me back $3,000. Cover art is another $250. Then there is promotional considerations and incidentals, which rounds it up to $3,500. Writing is a passion of mine. There are so many stories I want to get out, and so much want to show the fantastical, the horrifying, and the dance between refinement and raw viscerality. Beckoning from the Stars is continuing in a gap in the literature market of Lovecraftian cosmic horror blended with romance and sexuality, monsters as metaphor, and topics that can be looked into in a way that isn't clinical. Even monster romance dares not to go into the dark places the monster represents. I believe this idea is very unique, and that I can deliver it for you. The many thinly lined tentacles of the abyssal star swam around Francis. The white light outlining a creature blacker than black that looked two-dimensional within the limited lighting of the deep ocean she found herself surrounded by. Within a moment he stopped swimming around within the strange waters, his human-like head and torso facing her as many tentacles flailed along where arms and legs should be. What happens now? Francis asked as the curious waters she somehow breathed in felt thin yet thick. I get you're, infatuated? For reasons I will never understand. Tentacles wrapped around her back and waist, pulling her close to him. Gosh, he spoke in a half-coo. I saw you gaze into the abyssal darkness, where I saw your eyes piercing the veil between the dark matter and your verse. Your pretty eyes, marked with the radiance of cortex. Your design marked upon my essence. As I said, she closed her eyes as his smooth, fish-like lips moved in front of her face. None of that made sense, she thought, but I feel my head would ache if I asked him to clarify. The eldritch creature smiled. A weight on your eyes tells me there is knowledge you would rather not know. I cannot amnesia it, but I can at least make it easier to live with. The suckers on his tentacles suckled along her skin. Softly, rhythmically, a mild euphoria crossed over her, feeling herself relax more within the strange reality. Tension released so as she felt herself float freely, resisting not the currents or any hint of gravity. Bounding transversal of the form, he said, that enough step I take, you will feel and wish for more. Deeply, I assume? She asked. So you shall feel my soul. He pressed his lips against hers. Upon him pulling away, Francis asked, while looking into his eyes, You will stop if I asked you to, right? Such exploration isn't enjoyable. There is resistance. Tickled? Everyone who places a pledge will have their name in a special backer list in the book. All pledges for physical copies will be signed and bookplated. There will also be options for merch, including posters of the cover art, which is literal visual art.